Sybil, and I'm coming to you as usual from my kitchen. Today we're going to be preparing a beautiful leg of pork Jamaican style, meaning we'll be adding jerk seasoning to give it that extra burst of flavor. And we'll be preparing the jerk seasonings from scratch. But if you don't want to go through all that trouble, you could buy pre-prepared jerk seasonings in the supermarket. This is the wet version, and this is the dry version. And you can add this to chicken, lamb, fish, or just a dollop of two to any dish to give it a little oomph. So let's get started while I use my trusty little food processor. Okay, now into my tiny food processor, I'll be adding some onions and garlic and scallions and Scotch bonnet peppers. These are Scotch bonnet peppers and they're very hot. So we'll add these first, these flavorings. These are called aromatics, and they're the basis of most of our seasonings. Oops, get them all in. And we're adding some thyme. I'd say about a tablespoon of dried thyme. And then we're adding some nutmeg. Let's see. I would say about half a teaspoon of nutmeg. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. That's why jerk is so flavorful, because it has all these spices. And while I'm doing this, let me tell you a little bit about the origins of jerk. Okay, that would be about a teaspoon. Oh, why didn't I just use a teaspoon? So there's jerk and ground allspice. Now, when Columbus went to Jamaica, he was looking to go to India. And when he landed in Jamaica, he saw the pimento tree, and he thought it was black pepper and that he'd reach India. But that's what he called allspice, because it has a flavor of cinnamon and nutmeg and all the other spices. In Jamaica, it's known as pimento, the Spanish word for pepper. So we'll add a little bit more allspice, and then we'll add some bay leaves, and I'll just crumble these before adding it. And we have bay leaf. Let's add some black pepper. And a teaspoon of salt. Oh, by the way, when you that's about a teaspoon of salt, a little bit more because this is a large leg of pork. And when you get this version is a little bit salty, so be careful not to add salt before when you're using this one. And do I have everything that I want here? Yes, I think so. Oh, I also add a little bit of soy sauce to give it color. So in this small jar, I've added mushroom soy. That gives the deep dark color, and the lighter soy sauce, kikkoman, to give it flavor. So I'll add some of these in here for the color and the flavor. And then I'll add some olive oil. Now let's just add. It'll be a bit noisy. Ah, the aroma is wonderful. So now our sauce is ready. So now we're ready, and the sauce is ready. I'm going to score the meat with the knife to insert the seasoning way deep down. That looks good. I've already made some there, so here's what we'll do. We'll just open up, keep adding the sauce way down deep into the meat. And we'll be doing this, so we'll be roasting it tomorrow, because you would like this delicious sauce to be completely into the meat as far as it will go. Now let me tell you a little bit about jerk. Jerk got its name from the buccaneers, the pirates who frequented the Caribbean Sea. And when they went to Jamaica, they found the few remaining Taino Arawak Indians living on the island, and they traded, and they prepared the meat with hot peppers and pimentos, allspice, as a way of preserving the meat. And they would add this to their meat and hang the meat over a frame of wood over a fire, and this was called bukan, and that was the original barbecue. And when the pirates traded the weapons and machetes and whatever with the natives, they didn't quite understand what the name was, so they called them, they loved the meat so much that they called the pirates buccaneers, and that's how they became buccaneers, from the bucan meat that they traded with the pirates. And for many years, the little fishing village of Boston, Jamaica, was the only place that you could find jerk, because the Maroons, who were the escaped Spanish slaves, took to the hills and learned how to make jerk from the few remaining Tainos. And after slavery, they came down from the hills and to that little fishing village, and that was the only place where jerk was prepared for many, many years until now. Jerk is well known all over the world, like reggae music and Bob Marley. Okay, I've done a lot to this side, so let's turn it over and just rub it all over. Let's turn over the meat to the other side. Ah, there we go. So now we're going to be scoring this side as well. There we go. I'm sure if you're from Jamaica, well, you know jerk. And if you visited, you would have tried this. So this is an opportunity to try making it at home. Wow. There we go. Okay. So let's add some seasoning right into. And when you'll roast this tomorrow, in a very slow oven, because jerk is prepared over coals of pimento, the allspice tree, coals made from the branches of the allspice tree. So all that aroma from the smoke would be also going into the meat as it is being cooked. There we have it. Ah, I've got it everywhere. Well, now we're almost done with this part. We're going to cover it and refrigerate it until we put it in the oven, or you could also do it on the barbecue if you were just doing smaller portions of pork. So there we are, our beautiful leg of pork, well seasoned for cooking. Now, as you can see, we've allowed our beautiful shoulder of pork to marinate overnight, and it's still looking as beautiful as ever, and it's about ready to be placed in the oven. But before that, we'll be adding some oil, and I'm going to be using grapeseed oil to cover the rind. This will allow the skin to be nice and crispy the way most people like it. There's nothing like juicy piece of roasted skin that's nice and crunchy with a lot of flavor. Normally, if you really want it to be really crispy, called crackling, you would dry the rind and with a paper towel and allow it to sit for a while, and then you would cover it with the oil and with salt. But we don't want to remove some of this nice flavor from the skin today, so we're not going to be drying it out. Okay, that should do it with the oil. And then I'll just add a little bit more salt to get that crackling going. Not too much, because the jerk sauce had quite a bit of salt in it. But here we go. That should do it. So let's move to the oven. And now we're going to be placing it in the oven at about 450 to get that intense heat that will allow the skin to start getting that crackling going. And then after about half an hour, we're going to reduce the heat to about 350 and allow it to roast normally. So let's go to the oven. I've had the oven on, so it's just about ready. So let me place it in there. So we'll reduce the heat in half an hour to 350. Well, let's check on our roast. Now this was a 12-pound shoulder of pork, so it's going to take a while. It's been roasting at 450 so far, and it's looking beautiful. So let's add some water to keep the roast moist. Oops. Just a little bit. And then we'll reduce the heat to 350. And allow it to continue roasting. We'll check on it periodically. Let's just check on the pork. Ooh, look at that beauty. Here we go. Let's baste it a little bit. All this good juices. It's almost done. It's starting to pull away from the bone. I'll insert a thermometer in the next 15 minutes to see how far it's come. That'll be fine. Now it's time to once again check on the pork. Ooh. I'll baste it a little bit. With some of the juices collected in the pan. And I'll also, ooh, looking delish. I'll also now at this time insert a thermometer because it should reach 165 for pork. It's getting there. Not there yet. So we'll just close it up and allow it to continue roasting. And there's our magnificent jerked roasted shoulder of pork, seasoned with all the spicy jerk seasoning. This can be enjoyed with rice and peas and candied yams and vegetables. And it's goodbye from Sybil's Kitchen. See you again.